Everyone, Donald here from Optimizer Media. Thanks for checking our video. In today's talk, I want to talk about, what is Google Ads? And I'll also talk about how we use it in our digital marketing agency. So first of all, let's first answer the question, what is Google? Google is a search engine, right? In a recent study, it showed that there were 99,000 searches per second, which equates to 8.5 billion searches per day. Now that's some serious searching. Now if you think about it, a lot of people utilize Google for searching for certain services, for certain products. So there's something called intent. When someone is searching on the search engines, there's intent for someone to try to find a solution to something, trying to find something that they can purchase. And so you want to get in front of those people when they are searching for hopefully things within your business. So if you have a business that's service-based, if it's products, e-commerce, you want to be able to try to capture those people that are searching on the search engines. The reason being is because of that intent, there's a high chance that if those visitors come to your website, that they will convert, meaning that it will convert into a customer, into a sale. And that is the reason why it's important to rank well on search engines. Now, if you're ranking organically, meaning that you're not paying for positions on the Google platform, then depending on the business, sometimes you don't necessarily need to put as much ad dollars towards Google Ads. But let's take a couple steps back and explain what is Google Ads. So Google Ads is a platform for trying to advertise on the Google search engine, right? And so if you're not ranking well or organically, then chances are you probably want to try to, advertise to them, given that Google is a platform where your customers are searching for your products or service. And so Google created this platform, which used to be called Google AdWords. And so Google Ads enables a company marketer to position advertising to potential customers on the search engines. And so that's why when you see on the search engine, you search a query, you can actually see some of the links that are attached to sponsored ads, like it says ads beside it. And that's how you can tell that it's a paid ad of an advertiser trying to get their website to you. So why this is relevant is because, as mentioned, you want to try to capture relevant traffic to your website that have high intent to convert to sales, right? And so Google created this platform that enables you to get your website in front of the people looking for your product or service. Essentially, this is important also because the fact that because there's that intent and someone is actually searching for that keyword, for instance, at the particular time, you want to try to get your website in front of those people at the right time, meaning that you want to rank really well, not only organically, but also through paid ads as well. So how do we create that? And so the way that we're actually utilizing it within our digital marketing agency for our clients is we're building out campaigns that will enable us to target our clients' target market, the geographic locations that they want to market into, and create a variety of campaigns. And so Google enables you to create several different types of campaigns based on different factors, such as the goals, the objectives, if it's sales, app download, driving more clicks or conversions to the website, things like that. You can specify what your objective is, and then you can create campaigns accordingly. You can create search campaigns where you're bidding on certain keywords. And so when someone's searching for your particular keywords, then you want to rank for those keywords. And you can also create display ads where you have images. You can create video ads. You can create remarketing ads where if someone comes to your website and you can specify a certain period of time where after they visit your website that they can get kind of re-ping back an ad. And those typically will in general have higher conversion numbers because they already know your brand, they know your product or service. and so there's a higher chance because they become a warmer market. And so with those different types of ads, Google is constantly kind of updating ways to kind of make it more user-friendly, and there's a new kind of campaign called Performance Max, for instance, which I'll talk about in a later video, but it enables you to kind of take advantage of all the kind of assets to build out the best performing ad as possible in one campaign. And so it's quite powerful. And Google's constantly changing, and so it's really important to, not only as a business owner, but as a marketer, to stay on top of the latest and greatest of what's happening with respect to the Google platforms. Now, when you are kind of, faced with the decision on either to build a brand new campaign, because, for instance, maybe they have never run ads before, or it could be that ads were built before, but they just weren't set up properly, and they just don't perform well. And that's when you would probably want to create new set of campaigns. Or you'll be faced with a choice to also to do an audit. So if you had ads running for a while, several months to a year or several years, then you'll be able to gain access to a rich amount of data that hopefully can give you a lot of great insights of either that'll enable you to decide whether or not to have to build new campaigns just because they're not built up properly, or just, probably the better case scenario is you just have to optimize what is already set up, or maybe you have to set up maybe a few more campaigns. And so, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're collecting data, accurate data, in order to be able to utilize that to your iterative process to continually optimize your campaigns. And also too, you want it so then, you're not only data driven, but results driven, right? So the typical process for setting up a campaign is, kind of regardless if you're building a new campaign or, having to optimize, you still want to go through this process because things could change, markets could change. So you want to do keyword research, market analysis, competitor analysis. That will give you an idea of what are the intent money keywords, and you want to go after those. You also want to make sure that goal conversions are set up and tracking accurately. And so a conversion could be a form fill, a phone call click. It could be a purchase. So there's a number of ways of tracking a conversion, and you can actually attribute a value to those conversions. So then there's monetary insights also. So based on conversion, it will equate to a certain revenue amount. And that way you can really get deeper in terms of understanding the ROI of your ad spend. You also want to make sure that you have Google Analytics set up properly. And so that's checking to ensure that you have the proper tags set up on your website. You want to use GA4, which is the most latest version. Prior to that, it was Universal Analytics, which is no longer in use by Google, and so you want to make sure that you're set up with GA4, and that'll give you a lot of great insights in terms of like acquisition of the site traffic, e-commerce data. So it just gives you a lot of data that will be important when you get to the stage of optimizations. The way that the campaigns are set up, in terms of structure, you have the campaign level, you have the ad set level, and then you have the ads, right? And so campaign could be you maybe a particular keyword that you want to go after, maybe a campaign for a particular product line. And then within that campaign, you can set up several ad groups in an A/B testing format. And then within there, you want to have at least 2 to 3 ads, right? And so that's the typical structure. And then you can target geographic locations, specific keywords. You can also set up specific audiences and targets, and then you want to make sure you set the ad budget accordingly. And if you're building something called a search ad campaign, then you want to build out responsive ads where Google will push out the headlines and descriptions based on performance of them. And so you typically want to set up as many of the headlines as possible, as many as they give you, and then descriptions. You can put a vanity URL And then you want to make sure that you have the right final URL destination for that particular ads as well. And so there's a lot of great ways to test within the ad platform, which we'll talk about in a later video. But I just want to explain to you guys kind of how the initial setup is usually done and what that looks like. Once you've finished setting up your ads within the various campaigns, then you want to go ahead and publish. Once you publish, you want to make sure that you're checking the performance of the ads. You want to make sure that you're getting impressions, meaning that you're getting eyeballs to your ads, right? And then you also want to check for things like, conversions. You want to check for things like, the clicks, the spend, and so there's a variety of KPIs that you want to check for. But typically it's, like I said, the conversions, the cost per acquisition, CPA, the cost per conversion, conversion rate, the click-through rate, the average cost per click, the costs for each of the campaigns. So there's a variety of ways to dive deep and get granular in terms of the data, which we'll talk about in a future video as well. But it's super important to be able to track your data, as mentioned, and your results. And kind of once you set that all up, you want to make sure that you have a good reporting cadence going as well. And Google will give you several recommendations based on AI, and for instance, it'll tell you kind of what are some good keywords based on keyword trends to include into your campaigns or specific ad sets. And you want to make sure that your optimization score is, if you're a Google partner, for instance, you want to make sure your score is 70% or higher. But in general, yeah, you want to make sure that that optimization score is high, just to ensure that your ad campaigns are performing the best to its abilities. But when you have your ad campaigns all set up properly and you've been optimizing them, you can actually have them performing within the first week, I would say, within the first couple of days. But to really fine tune it, in general, it would take about a month to up to 6 months. If it's not performing well after the 3 to 6 month mark, depending on a lot of factors, then you definitely want to revisit kind of like what that setup is. Maybe there's something not set up properly, something's not connecting properly. So you just want to make sure that that's all done properly. One other thing that I should mention as well is that, as mentioned, you want to make sure that you have the Google property set up. You can set up Google Analytics, link it to your Google Ads, and if you have an e-commerce store, then you want to make sure you also set up Google Merchant Center, where you actually have your products and feeds, and you can connect your ads platform to your, for instance, if a Shopify store, if you have products on a Shopify website. And you can also set up something called Google Tag Manager, and so that's another way to tag. So Google Tag Manager is another way to tag your website to Google properties, and that way, for instance, if you have Facebook ads running and Google ads running, then you only need kind of one main tag, and it just makes it a lot cleaner. But I would say that depending on the complexity of your setup on your website and what is your goal and objective, then you want to set up these things accordingly. With that said, I hope that you found this video helpful. Be on the lookout for more Google Ads videos from us, and until next time, have yourself a great day. Take care, everybody. Bye now.